One book to truth. One book to the future. My book. My book about the path to eternal joy.
Books are great. I love reading books about stuff. And if it's a book related to a video game, you know I'm going to read that thing cover to cover in like a day. Sometimes you get stories about behind-the-scenes events, like those described in Jacked by David Kushner. Other times, you get incredible details about the game development and various concept art and pre-release screenshots, like Bend Studio gave us with The Art of Days Gone. They included everything from concept art to early character model designs, right down to even talking about what the game's original concept was in early development and how different it wound up becoming as time went on. Meanwhile, fans of GTA got The Art of Grand Theft Auto 4, which came out with the game's special edition back when it was released in 2008. And while it's not a bad book at all, to be perfectly honest, it's kinda short for a book about GTA 4's concept art and development. The Art of Days Gone contains 216 pages of concept art, early development screenshots, and discussion of early concepts, ideas, and other things that never made it into the final game. The Art of Grand Theft Auto 4 is only 67 pages. And while it does have some early beta information, and I'm being honest when I say that every page has something very interesting on it, for a game as massive as Grand Theft Auto 4, you'd think they'd have as much content to share or things to talk about to fill as many pages as the Days Gone art book did. It seems like Bend were just willing to share a ton of information about Days Gone's development, whereas Rockstar seemed much more selective in terms of what we got to see in GTA 4's art book. Just compare the two books to each other, and GTA 4's is like a hardcover pamphlet. And for those of us who are huge fans of theirs and who love discovering things about what might have been planned for these games from the start, what they looked like earlier in development, the vision the game's creators had when development first began, it's incredibly interesting to us. Believe it or not, 10 years ago, we almost wound up getting something that probably would have satisfied a lot of our curiosities when it came to the development and creation of Rockstar's worlds. In July of 2010, Wired magazine and Engadget revealed that a 3-volume set of art books by Rockstar was due for release that year. It was called Digital plus Analogue, the Art and Science of Rockstar Games, and it would have been published by Untitled, who apparently first listed it on their website, and that's where Wired and Engadget wound up discovering this and creating articles about it. According to Wired, this collection of books was going to be all about game design within Rockstar, and according to them, it was going to contain hundreds of color photographs, illustrations, wireframes, ads, and product shots. I'm imagining that this would be sort of like GTA 4's art book, but on a much larger scale and containing information about all of their games up to 2010. On top of 3 books with hundreds of pages of what would have honestly been incredible content, and you know it would have been incredible, the set would have also come with a DVD that would have had exclusive content. What exclusive content this would have been? Who knows? Maybe never before seen footage recorded of their games during the development stages, or perhaps interviews with the lead designers of these games. Oh, by the way, if you wanted this collection that badly, get ready to pony up $450.
For a book and cheap at the price. You read this and you'll want to give me 100 more.
That's right, this collection would not have come cheap. I have no idea why it'd be priced so high, since coffee table books and art books by high-end fashion designers like Louis Vuitton and Tom Ford, whose book was actually parodied in GTA 5, don't even cost that much. It does seem a little high, but I guess that's maybe what they figured the content was worth? I hope it was just a mistake with the listing. I want to believe it was. There's no way that it would cost that much. Actually, maybe that was the real price of the books. A Untitled catalog from the fall of 2009 has it listed with all 3 books, and yep, this set is $450. Jeez. I don't think I'm alone when I say that that's a lot of freaking money for 3 books and a DVD. Let's have a look through the catalog. It has an extra description here. Apparently this was being published to coincide with the company's 10th anniversary, and it is the ultimate Rockstar testament to the company's history of singular moments reinventing the boundaries of style and mischief in entertainment, and setting a new standard for what is possible in the interactive arts. If you scroll up, you get what are most likely page previews of this. There's a quote from artist Tom Sachs with a nice wireframe render of Nico, GTA illustrations, Bully artwork, Vice City, GTA 3, The Warriors, San Andreas, unreleased concept art from Bully, table tennis. There's also unreleased concept art of Midnight Club 2 and some wireframe images from GTA 3. And then there's this. Okay. So, if you weren't turned off by the possibly wrong price tag, and if you're salivating at the thought of something like this being released, if you now looked at the title of this video and then realized this book was due for release 10 years ago, now you might be wondering, wait a minute, what happened? That was 10 years ago, and this set of books isn't on my shelf. Well, a week after this was revealed, it got canceled. According to Wired, Alexander Galen, who is vice president of Distributed Art Publishers, said that the plans had been scrapped and that Rockstar were now working on a completely new project with a different book editor, one named Ava Prince, but one that wouldn't be distributed by Distributed Art Publishers, with no official word on what this new book would contain. Interestingly, a representative from Stidle also told Wired that apparently the fact that Digital plus Analogue had even been listed on the Stidle website to begin with was erroneous, and that it had since been removed. Okay, so somehow an art book by Rockstar was in development and it wound up being scrapped, and then they decided to work with a new book editor, and then it being listed on the publisher's website was just a mistake? I mean, I could see it being an accidental early reveal. Rockstar are the type of company who would more than likely want to announce something as major as this on their own website and social media channels first, before another company makes the announcement. I can totally understand that. That would be like GameStop accidentally listing a pre-order for GTA 6 before that gets announced. So sure, I could see that being listed too early by mistake. Not only that, but maybe the version that we saw revealed by them could have also been the wrong one, or it could have been an earlier version of Digital plus Analogue. Another Stidle catalog also listed Digital plus Analogue, and it contains a few additional pieces of information. For one, it has the same description as listed on Amazon. It has 3 open pages, one of which shows a wireframe of Algonquin in GTA 4, the drive-by artwork from San Andreas, and a sunset screenshot from Red Dead Redemption. Oh, and there's also an extra image of the book itself. This time, rather than 3 books, it looks like it's just one big book, and it's flipped open to what appears to be early concept art of Bully, complete with what was likely an early logo of the game. I don't know if this art has ever been revealed before. For concept art, it kind of reminds me of something like a show that would have been on Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network in the 90s or early 2000s. It has that cult classic cable TV animated show look to it. And I'm sure that I'm not the only one who would have loved to have seen more of this. And not just for Bully. The description lists Midnight Club, Grand Theft Auto, which I'm going to assume is a blanket term meaning it's going to feature everything from every single one they've made. Thrasher, which is really surprising because I don't think most people even know that this game exists. Manhunt, Max Payne, another one that some might find to be a surprising inclusion given how those were developed by Remedy, and this was a couple of years before Max Payne 3 came out, but Rockstar did own the IP by this point, so I guess it's theirs now. Then there's Bully, Smuggler's Run, Table Tennis, and Red Dead Redemption. I mean, according to the description, this book was going to be 544 pages. This version of the book is also listed at a much more reasonable price of $129.95. While there are art books that have gone for less, given the fact that this likely would have contained a massive wealth of never-before-seen content and with how thick this book looks, I suppose I can see why it would cost that much. It's better than $450. Who knows, maybe they wanted to consolidate the 3 separate volumes into one big book to save on the cost of printing these things, which might have also allowed them to lower the cost that they could sell it for. They probably knew that $450 for that is ridiculous. Not a lot of people are really going to be able to spend the cost of a new console and a game on that. But it's a shame that the entire book wound up being scrapped anyway, and I couldn't tell you why, since it's really hard to make this kind of determination. Then they decided to work with the other editor, and that was basically all we heard of it until an Asked and Answered from July 12, 2012. Twitter user GunslingaM3 asked, "Hello, does the History of Rockstar Games book have a release date?" More than likely, they were referring to the art book that we've been talking about, and Rockstar responded with this: "We aren't writing a history book. We're writing a book more about the games themselves called Digital plus Analogue, the Art and Science of Rockstar Games. We don't have a release date yet, but the book is shaping up fantastically." And then that was the last time we ever heard the book being mentioned. Interestingly, they kept the title Digital plus Analogue, so maybe after scrapping the one with Stidle, the book they were working on with Ava Prince probably would have been the same title, and it probably would have been more or less the same thing but with a different layout. And if this asked and answered post is anything to go by, then as of July of 2012, it was still in production. Maybe people thought that they were waiting for the release of GTA 5 before getting it published. By the way, this was not the last time that a major art book by Rockstar containing tons of concept art, pre-release images, and other stuff of that nature wound up being cancelled. The art of Red Dead Redemption 2 was revealed on Amazon in April of 2018. According to its description, the book would have been a peek behind the curtain of Rockstar Games and its intensely guarded approach to the creation of the lush, Old West open-world gameplay, and that the book would contain storyboards and behind-the-scenes inner workings of the game's creation with a mix of detailed original art, concept, story, and character studies, sketches, and actual screen grabs of the end result that led to the creation of this spectacular game. And for a game like Red Dead 2, I can totally see why it would deserve its own separate art book. That game was a massive project, the end result was a massive and amazing game, and it would be hard to fit its own development history into a book that also contains the same things for all their other titles, unless you wanted this book to be like 3,000 pages. Digital plus Analogue probably would have even been selective about the concept art and development shots of some of their older big titles like San Andreas and GTA 4. I doubt it would have shown as much about those games as even what the art of Red Dead Redemption 2 would have shown. According to the Amazon listing, which was said to be deleted but still remains for the Australian Amazon page, it would have been 208 pages. Once again, like with Digital plus Analogue, maybe the original listing was mistakenly added to Amazon before Rockstar had a chance to officially announce it themselves. And once again, the book just winds up never coming out. I just wonder now how far along they got with the production of these books. I don't know about the Red Dead 2 art book, but from the listing in the Untitled catalog in the original web listing, I almost get the impression that Digital plus Analogue was maybe near completion before it was scrapped. Was someone at Rockstar, or maybe multiple people there, deciding at the last minute that they didn't want to reveal more about the development of their titles? The descriptions of both books mention that the company is notoriously tight-lipped, and there's the implication that just being able to even view this content for ourselves is something that's considered very special. And it absolutely would have been special. I'm a huge fan of Rockstar and their games, and any kind of peek behind the curtain, any kind of behind-the-scenes look at the development of some of my favorite games of theirs would have been something I'd honestly love. Digital plus Analogue would have been a proud addition to my book collection, but unfortunately, it never came to be. Why do you think these books never came out? Your guess is as good as mine, and I'm sure a lot of you wish they would have released them too. Just think. Maybe, and by maybe I mean most likely, this book would have had some concept art of Grand Theft Auto Vice City. And maybe it would have included some of the concepts they drew up for, I don't know, Gator Keys. Or not. I don't know. And at this rate, we'll probably never know.